Ngayon po yung nagbabalik, we are back, Mr. Ambassador. There have been a number of provocations, and Russia has not really responded the way some people expected Russia to respond. There are now a total of 144 Russian diplomats who have been expelled from 25 countries, and you have expelled only 23 from British diplomats. So it shows so much patience on your part. And this latest strike, you have not shown any anger at all. I mean, you seem to be taking things in stride. How long can you be patient?
Oh, let me clarify some points. First of all, as for the expulsion of diplomats. So we expel diplomats of all of those countries who expelled Russian diplomats.
You have retaliated.
Yes, we fully retaliated.
Okay.
It was an absolute and adequate
corrected.
response. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the retaliation was well grounded and equal.
Equal number.
And equally painful, diplomatically speaking.
So,
moreover, for the British side suffered more than all other countries because of the British Council was closed, and the British Consulate General in St. Petersburg was closed. So they initiated that campaign, and that's why they suffered more than other countries. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So believe me, please, we'll always hit back.
Okay.
If somebody attacks us, we'll hit back. So it's beyond doubt, and please don't cherish any illusions in this respect. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As for the strike against Syria, so Russian facilities, Russian bases were not attacked. So the Russian air forces were not involved, and air defense system were not involved in the resistance measures taken by the Syrian armed forces. And you're absolutely right while saying that the air defense systems of the Syrian army proved to be very effective.
Capable.
Yeah.
Very capable. And can you imagine? So, according to the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, so the United States, the United Kingdom, so they used 103 missiles.
Not 110.
Oh, maybe. So I refer to our Minister of Defense, and 71 of them were intercepted. Were shot down. By what? By air defense systems of the Syrian army, which were produced
Soviet time.
In Soviet times. Can you imagine? A few decades ago. And they shot the so-called smart, highly precise missile, the American missiles down.
Were shut down.
So the much vaunted S-400 and S-300 systems are not yet tested.
Not yet.
No, it's only
Only S-200.
200.
200.
But I'm saying again, S-200 air defense system, it's a product of the former Soviet Union.
Not Russia.
Not Russia. So all of those systems were produced, were made a few decades ago, 3 or even 4 decades ago. Can you imagine? But they are still so capable. So it's for us, of course, from the military point of view, it's a very good demonstration. It's a clear demonstration of our military capabilities and of the supremacy, of our superiority, of our defense technologies. And that's why we always say we are able to defend ourselves, and we are able to help our friends and allies.
Were Russia informed before the attack on April 14?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not a military man. I'm a diplomat. I'm based here in Manila, not in Damascus. So I'm very sorry. I'm kindly asking you to forgive me. I don't have any information in this respect. But as you have just said, so the military of Russia and of the United States, so they have a so-called hotline, if it can, it can be called so.
Yeah.
So they maintain permanent working contacts, and it's working, this system of communication. And I'm happy to say that the military of both our sides are quite responsible.
Yeah, how can we de-escalate the tension in Syria right now?
There is only one way: to stop brandishing arms, to stop imposing sanctions, to stop threatening, and to resume dialogue. So it's obvious that nobody is able to topple President Bashar Assad. It's up to the Syrian people to determine their political future, who will be running their country in the future. So it's time to come together and to resume a political process.
Before we leave the...
I don't know any alternative to that. Believe me, please. So the Syrian people and by the way, most of Syrian people, they support President Bashar Assad. It's a political reality.
Yes, yes.
And everybody must take it into proper account. Any responsible politician in any country. It's an objective political reality. And this choice of the Syrian people must be respected by everyone. Like the choice of the Russian people, who have recently re-elected Vladimir Putin as their president. This decision must be respected by everyone. And that's why there is, it's necessary to resume a dialogue with the government of Bashar Assad. But, of course, at the same time, of other civilized, responsible political forces, except for terrorist organizations. They must be involved into that political process. It's up to Syrians to build their country, to build the political future of their country. All other the international players can and must help Syrians to find a mutually acceptable political solution, political settlement, but not to interfere into the political process in Syria, and moreover to decide to make political decisions instead of Syrians themselves.
Ambassador, before this airstrike, the Syrians wanted your S-300, but I understand on the request of some Western partners, you refused. But after this incident, will you not see a reason to grant that request?
Yes, right. As far as I understand the position of my government, we are ready. We are ready to supply the most sophisticated air defense systems to Syria.
To prevent a...
Yes, definitely. It will be a very good, I would say, a sober message to those who want to solve political problems by military means.
So, Ambassador, in our
Those
conversation...
who attack any aggressor should understand that he can be punished.
In many statements from your colleagues in Moscow, we read the statement that there's a lot of Russophobia in the world today. This is probably because you have grown so strong, in spite of your having metamorphosed from the Soviet Union to Russia in 1991. How do you aim to make sure that this Russophobia comes down? your dreams for world peace should move forward with the cooperation of all these other nations.
So any hatred, I think any hatred to other nations is always based on lies. In this respect, so we have a very good saying in the Russian language. Lies have short legs.
Legs.
So it means that lies, unfortunately, sometimes it's possible to deceive people. Unfortunately, and the history knows many examples of such kind, tragic examples, like for example, Germany under Adolf Hitler. But lies cannot exist forever. So, and in this respect, I would like to emphasize a special and very responsible role to be played by mass media. And that's why I am sincerely grateful to you for inviting me and for giving me an opportunity to present and to explain the position of my government and of our people.
You're always welcome here, sir.
Thank you very much. And as for the so-called Russophobia, yes, unfortunately, you're absolutely right while saying that it's somewhat quite common. So it's a political instrument which is used against Russia, and frankly speaking, so any kind of Russophobia, so it insults us Russians simply because it's unfair. But according to the principle of boomerang, any attack on us, any attempt to insult us makes us stronger, united. And believe me, please, I'm saying once again, we are able to defend our nation, ourselves, our legitimate interests, and at the same time, of course, we are ready to cooperate with all responsible members of the international community in order to build a new world, more democratic, safer, more predictable. But we don't want to live in a world where most of countries have to dance to the piping of a few selected countries.
Mr. Ambassador, I was reading a Latin American writer, and he was saying that President Putin has incurred the animosity of so many leaders, so many countries, because he has a very strong position against the new global gay order. And I look at his statements on this issue, and he's very strong. I was in Moscow and was invited to give a talk in that forum. There was a topic which said, training boys to be men. So in Russia today, you train boys to be men and girls to be women. So the gender issue is somehow...
I'm sorry, is it bad or good?
It's good.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
It's good. It's good.
So I have already said...
And I think that they take it against President Putin, against Russia, that this is one big country where the family is strong. I was there helping organize the Parents Federation of Russia, and this is it. Boys should grow up into men, girls should grow up into women, and
and they should make each other happy.
this distinction of the sexes remains. And this is one of the offenses of President Putin.
Only one.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador.
So, and in this respect, so just one more remark.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to you for this story and for this example. And I have already said many times that we, Russians and Filipinos, we have a lot in common.
Oh, yes.
And one of those common things is our commitment, our dedication to our traditional values, based on traditional Christian values. So and we'll never abandon these values.
Ambassador Igor Kobayev, thank you very much for honoring us this evening.
Thank you.
Hanggang po sa susunod na linggo, kami po ni Ariel Ayala ay muling nagpapasalamat sa inyo dito sa ating programa, Una sa Lahat.